and welcome back everyone. In this video, algorithmic problem solving will be discussed. Before proceeding to algorithmic problem solving, let us understand what is problem. A problem is a statement which would describe a scenario, right? But without any objective, problem itself is incomplete. So a problem should have an objective, and that is where the problem solving comes in. But in real life, there will be some constraint, and based on that, one has to solve the problem. So this is the idea of problem solving. To understand the idea much better, let us consider an example. Firstly, a rectangle of size m cross n is given, right? This rectangle has to be covered with a square tiles. Now, in this is a statement. Now, this statement has two parts. First part is a scenario. What is the scenario? Consider a rectangle of size m cross n. That's a scenario. Another scenario is this rectangle has to be covered with a square tile. Now, these two statements forms a scenario. Now, here is the objective. Which is to find out the smallest number of tiles that will cover the entire rectangle, right? Now, no constraints has been provided, hence this is termed as unconstrained problem. But let's try to solve the problem for an unconstrained scenario. Now, let us consider a rectangle of 6, 7, and square of size 1 cross 1 initially. Hence, to cover entire rectangle, number of squares would be 42 by 1, which would be 42 squares would be required. And another scenario would be considering the square of size 2 cross 2. And there the number of squares would be 42 by 4, which would be meaning 10 squares would complete the area of 40, remaining area would left be 2, and this has to be covered. This can be covered using 1 cross 1 square, and that number will be 2. Hence, in this case, number of squares required are 12. But as it is unconstrained problem, user can assume any size of the square. Like this can be one possible choice, plus this can be another possible choice. Now, what if a constraint was imposed, like only using 5 cross 5 square? How many such squares would be required to fit the to cover the entire rectangle? It is not possible using 5 cross 5. Hence, here 5 cross 5 becomes a constraint. This is just a simple example. What if the number was much more larger? Let's say the size of the rectangle was 10 power 9 by 10 power 9. Is it manually possible to solve this? Answer may seem yes or no. Yes, but it will take time. No, if the person is lazy. So answer can be both. But here ignore the case of person taking longer time. Ignore that case and assume that the person is lazy. He wants to compute the number of squares on the constrained problem. Then it won't be possible manually. Hence, the idea of algorithm comes into picture. Algorithmic problem solving comes into picture. Now, let us discuss what is algorithm. Here, if you had figured it out, here considering the size of square like 1 by 1 cross 1 or 2 cross 2, 3 cross 3. So, the user is performing or taking squares 1 by 1. So he is doing those steps step by step to reach the end goal. So that's the idea of algorithm. Algorithm basically is step by step procedure. Step by step procedure to solve problem. To solve a problem. Right? Number of sequences. To solve a problem, finite number of sequences applied on some input, which is applied on some input. Here the inputs are, here in this case the inputs are the size of squares which is considered, and in order to obtain the solution. So that is the idea of, or this is the idea of algorithm, where you would consider finite number of sequences. Like in the case, you would consider taking 42 such squares, which is a finite number, and if we are considering the square of size 1 comma 1, that is the idea of algorithm. And using this algorithm, problem is to be solved. And let us have a look at what are the goals of algorithmic problem solving. One is required to solve it efficiently using data structure and algorithm. That's the main purpose of algorithmic problem solving, where one needs to solve it efficiently using data structure and algorithms, and one has to be trained in such a manner where a statement to problem conversion becomes easier. And this is the main purpose of algorithmic problem solving, which is solving it quickly and correctly without any bugs.